Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Podcast, a show where I look to provide value to you by riffing on topics and answer your questions at the end of each episode. In today's show, got something a little bit different. Got my buddy Marcos Miranda on here.
Hello.
And kind of like the episode 2 weeks ago, we're going to share a quick story, and it's a pretty good one. Well, I mean,
let's hope it is to the audience.
Not to put your hopes up too high, but it was definitely something unique, and I thought, it'd be cool to come on and talk about it. And that story pertains to David Goggins. And Marcos and I have been fans of Goggins for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Frothed out about staying hard. And I got into Goggins 3 years ago when I broke my hand. I remember going to the doctor's appointments and listening to him on my way down to the city.
Yeah.
And getting super jacked up on what he was all about. And yeah, it inspired me to change a couple different things in my life. And, it's kind of mellowed since then. I definitely went full Goggins, and then you kind of find your place in it. And then when did you start reading his stuff?
Yeah, I probably heard about him. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess kind of same scenario as you. I got injured.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of found out about him through YouTube and the internet and all that stuff. And yeah, right before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good for that. I think kind of reaches people when they're down, because I think through his story he's talked about, going to places of darkness and figuring ways out of them. So it's definitely inspiring when you're feeling that kind of way to go see some of his stuff and get you jacked up to.
Oh yeah,
it'll
definitely get you jacked up.
Yeah. I almost think that's the hardest part about Goggins, is when you listen to his stuff and not go do something crazy because you're so juiced.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to listen to him and then just keep sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
It just makes you want to do something. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely gets you worked up.
Get out and about.
Oh yeah.
So our whole experience over those couple years was just watching my Instagram. I listened to his audiobook. You actually read the paperback book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've had a job, luxury transport. You probably had for almost the same amount of time too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess kind of the whole story starts with, getting injured fall of 2019.
Yeah.
And then that leading to me being at home for a couple months without being able to do sports or anything at all, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying, I was just scrolling through YouTube trying to figure out what to watch, because at this point I'm just... anything goes type of thing. And I guess I kind of got into Joe Rogan podcasts.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the Goggins one just came up, I was in search. I didn't know who he was at all.
Yeah.
What he did or whatever, and it came up, and I just started listening to it. 20 minutes in, I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. This is crazy. What a story so far. And so then I got my driving job probably about 3 months later.
Yeah. For
a company called Luxury Transports.
Yeah.
And basically what we do, we're just private shuttles that pick people up from the airport. I'm the guy with your name standing at the airport waiting for you.
Yeah. How did it go from you're just driving to oh shit, there may be a chance that I'm gonna maybe meet this guy? Because I remember you had to pull some strings to actually get him as a rider in the first place.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Well, yeah, like I was saying, I was just I obsessed over his way of thinking for those months, right? And then I get this job, and probably month and a half into this new job, I see his last name Goggins on a pickup sheet, right, to what you hold at the airport.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. This is not him. He lives in the States. He's got no reason to come here,
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then so right away, I messaged my boss, and I'm like, hey, I noticed that someone picked up David Goggins, brought him up to Whistler. Is there any way that I can drive him back? I would love to have a chance to talk to him and just meet him.
Yeah.
And then so my boss didn't answer me. He just didn't say anything, and I was kind of oh, that's a loss. Shit. I hope I get him. That'd be cool. And then I check my schedule, and I'm driving him, the next day, and I was like, holy smokes,
it's happening.
This is happening. David Goggins. I'm like, how many David Goggins is there out in the world? There's probably a few, but so I was kind of stunned, right? And then so the day comes to go pick him up. It was 12 p.m. pickup or something.
Yeah.
And show up, 11:45, 11:50. Mm-hmm. And, wait it out. No one comes out. At this point, it's 10 minutes past 12.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man, this is definitely not him, Goggins. Goggins on time is 10, 15 minutes before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I started questioning it, You know, I was like, what's going on? Like, and then I go to the lobby and I'm like, hey, I'm picking up David Goggins. Like, hit him up to his room and just let him know that I'm outside, type of thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't have a David Goggins. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, am I getting pranked right now? You know, like, and I for a few minutes there, I was kind of like concerned because I was like, I'm the new guy at this job. Like, maybe this is like a new guy prank. You know, like they just found out that I was really, you know, like passionate about this guy and
break you down for no reason.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe it's just like a welcome to the team prank, you know, like
a lot of stuff going through the head at this point.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going through the head, you know. So then I'm like, I don't know. Okay, just go back outside to the car, and then I text my boss. You know, I'm like, hey, like, there's no one by the name of David Goggins here. Like, I don't know what do you want me to do? And at this point, we're like 20 minutes, you know, like past pickup time. Yeah. So he's like, sit tight. It's all good. Like, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I sit there, like, I'm like, ah, shit, like, I just got pranked, you know, like, I don't even know what to think, I guess, and then, yeah, all of a sudden, I was just, you know, sitting in the driver's seat, and all of a sudden, someone opens the door, it's Goggins, he's like, hey, bro, like, sorry I'm a bit late, and I was like, oh, no worries at all, like, you know, get out of the car, like, I'm like, holy shit, it's actually him, shit, and then, open the trunk, like, you know, I'm like, hey, can I get those bags? He's like, no, I got it, man, like, you know, super friendly guy, and, and then him and his partner, they both get in the car. At this point, I'm kind of having a little...
Yeah, where's your head at?
A little panic, you know? I'm like, holy shit, I got Goggins in the back here, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, cool, like, yeah, guys, like, you know, do my classic intro, like, make yourselves comfortable, like, let me know if you need to stop anywhere, type of thing, and, you know, if you get too hot or too cold, let me know, I can adjust it for you, like,
right.
It's like, thanks, bro, like, thank you, appreciate it. Like, he was very thankful and appreciative and super nice guy.
That's so cool. I imagine you're really trying to balance, like, you're partly fanning out, but you're doing your job, you're trying to be really professional, you're not about to, like, instantly go off, you're trying to give him a good service and be respectful.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
Was it hard? Like,
exactly. It was a little bit tough because that was definitely going through my head, right? I was kind of having like a fan out moment, but I was keeping it inside of me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just come out right off the bat and be like, oh shit, I'm your biggest fan. It's like, oh shit. Like, you know, like type of thing. So I kept it pretty cool. I introduced myself. And then, we just kind of drove away and, you know, for probably like half the drive, he was on his phone, like talking to someone.
Just normal.
Normal
drive.
Normal drive, you know, like we pick up a lot of high-end people. So that's what they spend a lot of time on their phone and, you know, talking business and all that stuff. So it's pretty normal for that. And I guess throughout the drive, I was just in disbelief, I guess, like,
just stoked.
Yeah, just so stoked, right? Like, I was like, this is insane. And then, passing through Squamish, I do the classic, like, hey, do you guys need to stop anywhere? Like, bathroom, coffee, food, like, like, you guys good? And then he's like, yeah, we're all good, man. Like, but if you need to stop anywhere, like, go ahead. Like, you know, it's like, he was like, we're super easy-going. Like, don't be scared to fucking, blast your music. Like, do whatever you need to do, man. Like, and then, so that made me feel really comfortable, right? Because with a lot of these people, you feel nervous almost for no reason, just because they're people with real jobs and real success, and
they're paying for a service.
They're paying for a service, right? So
am I breathing too loud? Am I doing this in the weird way? Do they not appreciate what I'm doing?
You think about all the little things, right? So he made me kind of just like be able to relax a little bit more, which is nice. And then going through Squamish, that's when I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan.
Sick.
And then he's like, oh no way, man, like, thanks, I appreciate it, man. And I was like, yeah, man, like, I read your book, like, I listened to the podcast with Joe Rogan, and your shit's just so inspiring and motivating, right? Like, he's like, yeah, thanks, bro, like, I appreciate that means a lot. And then so that didn't go like too far, because he kind of went back to doing his thing. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, at least I got it out of the way, you know? Like, I got it on my chest. It went well.
Good.
I was like, okay, cool. I'm like,
I can be happy.
He knows I'm a frother, you know? Like, and then, so we keep driving. And I have this playlist that I made for just my guests. It's like a very all-around playlist, you know? It's like no swearing type of thing. It can, you know, like an 8-year-old can listen to it, or or a 70-year-old can listen to it.
Yeah, broad spectrum, easy listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I've got a lot of compliments. A lot of people like it.
So you got a good mix.
I got a good mix. Yeah. I was playing the music very low because when I get customers, I start it off very low, just to kind of have like background noise, so it's not fully silent.
Yeah.
Within that playlist, I have one of the songs from the Rocky movies. I guess that's a song that he listened to when he was breaking the world record for most amount of pull-ups in a day. Yeah, I think he did pull-ups for like 19 hours straight. And he, according to the podcast, he listened to that same song on repeat.
Yeah.
For that whole like 18 hours.
It's from like round 12. The song's called Going the Distance.
Yeah. From round 12, Going the Distance, and it's got no lyrics. It's just pretty much yeah, exactly.
And it's sick because I think the reason, that he talks about he loves it so much is it's pretty much Rocky gets knocked down and then looks across at Creed there and takes his soul. Creed's knocked him down so many times and Rocky's just willing to get up and just keep going, and it's just like, I can't beat this guy. Yeah. And that's what he talks about, why he loves that song, because it's just like...
Yeah, exactly. Because it's got a very strong message behind it for him, right? Yeah. From that scene that you're talking about.
That he's used throughout his life to do crazy shit like that, pull-up records. It's kind of wild to listen to that for 18 hours straight. I'll be honest, I've done the repeat of that song, Trying Tricks. I've been like, I need something. Nice. Yeah, and
that's awesome.
Put Going the Distance on repeat, and you feel like you can achieve anything. So that song starts playing while you guys are driving.
Yeah. So it started playing, and I didn't even, like, it was so low that I didn't even, like, really hear it, because I think through my mind I was just, like, the music was blurring out, and I was just more so, like, holy shit, like, you know, like, Goggins is in the back still, like, an hour later, you know, and then so his partner, like, taps me on the shoulder, and she's like, hey, do you mind turning this up? And then I'm like, yeah, of course. And then I look down and it's the song. So yeah, I turn it up, and then Goggins gets all hyped, right? Like, he's like, oh shit, like, this is my song, man. Like, what? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know, man. Like, I know it's your song from the podcast. Like, I listened to your podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then he's like, fuck, like, this is awesome. Like, this brings me back.
Cool.
And then so he kind of goes silent, right, for the whole song. He, like, doesn't say anything. And then
just listening to it, like,
listening to it, you know, I turn it up, like, not crazy loud, but just like enough. Yeah, exactly. And the song finishes or whatever, and he's like, oh, thanks for playing that, man. I'm like, yeah, of course, like, my pleasure. Like, this is crazy. We just listened to the song together. Like,
dude, that's a cool moment on its own. To listen to Going the Distance with Goggins.
With Goggins, yeah, exactly, right? And
yeah.
And then so 2 songs go by, like random songs, whatever, and he doesn't say a word, right? Like, after the songs like ended, the 2 songs go by, he doesn't say anything for like that whole whatever, like 6 minutes, right? And I was kind of like, shit, did I fuck him up a little bit? Like, did I just take his soul by like playing the song? Like getting his back out of the yeah. And then he all of a sudden he taps me on the shoulder and he's like, bro, he's like, you gotta go back to the song, man. He's like, you gotta go back. I was like, hell yeah, like, of course, like, I'll go back, you know? And he's like, and then turn it up. I was like, all right, like, shit, like, fuck yeah. Yeah, he taps me. He's like, yo, you gotta play that. Like, I gotta make a video, man. I'm like, and then at that point, I was like, holy fuck, no way. Like, he's making a video right here with me. Like, In the car, you know? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And then so I bump it, you know? And then he does it. And, like, halfway through, he, like, messes up or whatever. Like, whatever he wanted to say.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, you gotta restart it, bro. And then he's like, but turn it up louder. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, holy shit, like, this is loud, you know? Like, almost maxing out.
Yeah.
And then does it again. He tells me again, you know, like, he's like, I'm one more. Like,
he needs to get it right.
You know, and he again tells me, like, turn it up more. Like, and I'm just like, holy shit. Like, all right. Like, you know, at this point, I'm fully cranked. Like,
and he must be loud too. If the music's loud, he's probably
loud.
Yeah.
He's got a very strong voice.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, coming from his background in the Navy, it's very, I think that's what they teach you as well, is to...
Yeah, it can cut through.
Yeah, you can cut through. Just, you're a loud person. You're very, like, stern, like, fucking type of mentality, I guess. And then he finally did the video. which I posted on my Instagram, and it's on his Instagram as well.
I'll link it.
You can pop it up into the video, but
yeah.
While he was doing it, I was driving, and I was just, I guess, going through my mind was disbelief again. I was like, this is fucking insane. Like, it's almost like he's telling me these words, you know, like he's making this video for me type of thing.
Was it hard to kind of focus on driving?
It was hard to focus on driving because I kept looking back at my mirror there, and I was like, you know, trying to like look at him while he's doing it and trying to drive, and there's snow on the road, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, like, this is, I can't believe I didn't crash type of thing. So he finally does it, and you know, at the end I'm fucking like, I'm so stoked after he finishes and does his clap at the end. Yeah. And I'm just like banging on my like steering wheel. I'm like, fuck yeah, like shit. And then that's when like his girl tells him like, I think that's the loudest you've ever like talked, like screamed, like that's the loudest video we've ever made, you know, like.
That jacked up.
And then so I got him so jacked up, right, from playing this song. Wow. That he had to make a video right at that moment because I guess, and going back to it, he went silent because that song put him back into the state of where he used to be, of being this really fat dude with not having accomplished very much in his life and just having like this mentality that always kind of like wants to stop you, I guess. And so it was a very powerful message video. And it was also cool to hear that he, like after he did it, he was like, man, this is... like, you're the first person to ever be around when we film one of these videos. He's like, no one has ever been around. You're the only person. And after, like, he said that too, and I was like, oh my God, that's a fucking, you know, cherry on top. Like, that's good. Like, this was good enough, just me being around. Now that you tell me that I'm the only person that's been around live when you actually do one of these is just crazy, right? Because, like, oh, it's nuts, man. Like, those videos are crazy. They get you so fired up.
Yeah, you must have been just expecting to open your eyes and pop your head off the pillow and be like, shit, that was a dream, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, literally, man. Yeah, keep driving. I'm, like, still in shock, kind of, you know, like... Then later on, he kind of asked me, like, a couple questions of, like, cool, like, what do you want to do? Like, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Nice.
And then, so it was kind of nice because I got to, like, you know, talk to him a little bit and kind of explain to him like thank him first of all for you know what he's done and what he's been able to spread to people, because I feel like a lot of people need his type of motivation, and just his mentality is such a good mentality. And
it's a special message.
It's a special message. I brought my book, the David Goggins book, because I was like, all right, if it is him, then it'll be cool, you know, I'll get him to sign my book, get a picture with him type of thing. Yeah. And then, so I drop him off, and usually, you know, get into the airport, I'm like, well, I hope you guys had a comfortable and relaxing ride, you know, and then he's like, comfortable, really I did. That. He's like, comfortable.
Oh, you said it?
Yeah, no, I did say it, you know.
Sick, yeah.
And then he was like, oh, man, like, I had a comfortable ride. You just fucked me up on the relaxing part, though, bro. He's like, and I was like, oh, yeah, fuck, like, sorry. Like, you know, and so it was kind of cool to hear that I like altered his state. Yeah. You know, through my playlist, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good mix, man.
Yeah. So then he signed my book and took a picture with him, and kind of went on, and driving back, I was just so frothed. You know, texting the boys, calling the boys, like, you would not believe what just happened. You know, like, this is a crazy thing. It was insane, right? And a lot of the homies just couldn't believe it.
Dude, I remember I was traveling. I was in Calgary at the time. And someone told me that. I was like, no. Like, dude, I was like, no. And then I saw it on social. I was like, no way. And then watching the clip and being like, dude, that's Sea to Sky luxury transport. And then I called you and we talked for like 45 minutes. You told me the whole story. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was so cool. Yeah. Got me frothed up. It's just so sick. It's good to hear too. Like, you know, they say don't meet your heroes, but he gave you a pretty good experience.
He gave me a great experience. Yeah, man. It was crazy, right? And like, that's what a lot of people have asked me is like, what was he like? Like, is he like that always? Like, is he a dick? Is he cool? Like, I was like, man, he was so nice. And he's exactly what he presents himself to be on social media, because like now social media, people are so much different than what they post on their Instagram or Facebook or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's very cool to hear him talk the way he does in real life.
Yeah.
And on his social platforms, right? Because like he swears a lot, and he knows that, right? And that's something that he brings up, because I guess a lot of people like give him bad feedback on like, what do you swear so much? What do you blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And he's like, well, if you knew my fucking story, then you would know. And I'm because this is me talking with like emotions, right? Like essentially. So yeah, no, it's cool. He swore just as much. But he was also a very nice dude, you know, like super nice guy, relaxed and genuine. Yeah, exactly. He was not the type of guy that, you know, sees himself as higher ranked than other people or lower ranked. He's just very neutral and equal from what I got on that car ride. And yeah, it was a crazy experience, man.
Dude.
Yeah, I think the craziest part was just the whole manifestation part of it.
Yeah, you made that happen to a certain extent, you know?
Like looking back at it, I was like, that should have never happened. Like that should have never happened, you know? Like me getting this job, and within a month having this job, I drive the person that I've been essentially obsessing over the past 4 or 5 months, right?
Yeah.
And it was crazy, because I'm like, ever since I found out about him, and then every single day I'm on some sort of same wave as him. You know, like I would listen to the podcast again, or I would read a bit of his book, or little YouTube, you know, inspirational videos,
or he's in your head. You're just like doing.
He's in my head. Yeah, exactly.
The dishes or something, and you're like,
literally,
Goggins do this, you know.
No, it's cool, because you can apply the mindset that he promotes into everything that life has to offer, whether that be in work, working out, the way you eat, whatever it is. Like you can apply into your own thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess I was, you know, like I was applying that to everything that I did for that whole 4 months before I met him.
Yeah.
Every single day, aggressively, like to the point where I was getting fucked with by the homies, you know, because I'm talking about him so much, and just on his program every single day that I was getting messed with, and then all of a sudden this happens, and I'm just like, how did this? He's here for not even 48 hours, and I'm one of the people that gets to meet him, you know, like that was a crazy thing.
Yeah,
I've always believed in manifestation. Because looking back at some of the things that I've been able to accomplish or have, all came with a quick, simple initial thought in my head.
Yeah.
And that little thought just developed into the actual thing that I wanted to do, or object that I wanted to have. And that just kind of made me see it a bit more bright, you know, like in a brighter setting, to where it's like, wow, if you really apply half a year to whatever it is that you want to do, that's going to become possible, because, you know, it's not just thinking about it, but if it's in the back of your head, then that becomes something that on the daily basis you work towards, even though you don't think you are. It just kind of happens because it's in your head. I guess. I don't know how to explain it very well, but
no, I back it though.
But yeah.
Kind of have that filter turned on, and, you know, asking the universe for something that kind of gave you back in a way you probably never would have expected. That's for sure. Yeah,
no, it's crazy. Yeah. But overall, it was a very cool experience that I'll definitely never forget.
Yeah,
I'm just glad I got to meet him, honestly, because that was crazy.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah, it was insane.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for sharing that. It's like the craziest story, and I was like, people have to know how cool that was, because it's sick. It's a fun one.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And a lot of people ask me too, you know, because like a lot of people know him, and they're like, no way you got to meet him. Like, I was like, it was the craziest way of meeting him. Like, I don't even know, like, this is not going to sound real to you, you know?
It's not. Well, that's the thing, is like, not only did you meet him, but like all those check marks of like, dude, listening, going the distance, being around for the video, it's such a cool one. And just to hear, like, as another fan, like me personally, of David Goggins, to hear how he acted, you know, around a homie, is just like, it's super cool. Yeah, no, it was very dope. And I need to, you know, I haven't been on top of it fully. Yeah. But his way of thinking definitely took a space in my mind, in my brain, that I'm always going to have that type of mentality within me, Yeah.
And it might not be very strong all the time, but at least I have that to go back to whenever I'm feeling down or lazy or whatever, not wanting to do things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of dig into this little part of my brain where Goggins
he lives, dude.
Where Goggins lives, and essentially I want to be able to develop that little part into a bigger space in my head that I can always have that, and without having to like look for it, it's just there all the time, right? And whatever situation it is that you want to become better at, or whatever it is. But
and if you know his story too, you know that it wasn't a steady climb from the bottom to the top.
No,
he all fell off the wagon too. So I think that's one thing to take, is that inspiration and motivation, ebbs and flows, and he had it too. So
exactly.
Something to take from it, and just to realize it and get back on the grind for sure.
It's cool. I like his story a lot because a lot of people don't show the beginning. They just show the end, right?
Yeah.
So,
and like the nitty gritty, the deep dirt of it all kind of
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they show you as success. They show themselves as successful, but not as struggling, right? And that's what I really like about Goggins, is that he's really told his story from beginning to where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to see, because it like, for me, his story kind of makes you realize more and more, even though like this is a known thing, that just, like people like him are normal people like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're nothing different. They just worked harder for what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And so, for me, he's one of those guys that really shows that and expresses that, because a lot of like successful people in whatever aspect, they only like to show the good things in life and not the struggles, and that kind of creates a fake, I guess you could say a little bit of fake image, because then you give people that you inspire, that like you give them a wrong impression of like, I'm a robot pretty much, like I'm a superhuman, like, and
it's
like,
not the whole picture.
It's not the whole picture, right? And then that discourages people when they try and start something, because like with anything, you have to fail before you can succeed.
And they think, I'm feeling these things, they probably don't feel these things. Like, there's no way
exactly.
They're
like, well, he didn't go through that. Like, why am I going through it? Like, that's not fair. And then it discourages you to keep going towards your goal.
Versus Goggins,
he's like, listen, this is where I was at. Like, this was me. This was real. Like, I was fat. I was, like spraying for cockroaches. Like, pretty much like a fucking loner. Like, a fat guy sitting on a couch, eating pastries and drinking chocolate milk. But now I'm this guy, and like this guy's not anything like same guy, just different mentality, right?
Well, Stick even talks about, to this day though, like sometimes he goes to run and he just has to look at his shoes for like an hour.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to go do this.
No.
I think I want to go do this, but it goes to show that like even at his best, like he still has those sort of like moments of insecurity or procrastination and stuff like that. But I think just at this point he's learned how to deal with those emotions better than he used to in the past, kind of thing.
Totally.
And shows that like everyone has those feelings, and there's ways to work with them and work around them to like get done what you need to get done.
Exactly. And that's a lot of the things that he says, right, is that's why he's such a believer in repetition. Repetition every day, stay hard. Because even a guy like Goggins, who has accomplished a lot in his life and is the guy that he is and has the mindset that he's got, he still struggles with working out every day, but he does it so that he can callous his mind. And he can essentially tell his brain, like, I don't care if you don't want to do it, we're doing it, like, because this is what we got to do, right? So it's, I really like that part, that message that he spreads too, is that, like you have to do things that you don't want to do so that it can make you stronger at the end of the day, right? Like, not just physically, but mentally strong. And so that when you go to your 9 to 5, you don't show up every morning fucking pissed off at the world that you have to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, so that you can show up in a good state and actually have a good day, right? Because it all starts in the head. And
sick.
Well, getting me fired up here talking about that
dude.
Shit.
You're gonna have to go carry the notes.
Exactly.
But you got another drive you gotta get to. So
we're
gonna wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed your time here, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for either me or Mark, I can always ask them for you.
Yeah.
You can leave them in the YouTube comment section or on Spotify. There's a little Q&A section in the description. Thanks again, and see you next week.
See you next week. And if you have never watched Goggins, get on him right now.
Yeah.
It'll change your life. It'll change your mindset.
Sick.
Stay hard.
Yeah, dude. Perfect.
Yeah, big league.